Hello, everyone. This is Azhar Khan, Coffee with Azhar Khan. If you do anything for the money, you don't succeed. Today, I have a very special guest, Pat Doyle, who is a successful businessman. His company named Pat Doyle, and he is a very seasoned and Toastmaster. Luckily, we both are in the same club, Ajax Outspoken Speakers. We are have many things common. We are also members of Connecting GTA, and I'm seeing Pat since more than 2 years. That before in Ajax Pickering Board of Trade, and he speaks well. He have his own style. So today we are starting uh, a program, Coffee with Azhar Khan, and my special guest is Pat. Today I'm setting a new rule. In Toastmasters, we have table topic session. Each table topic session, you have maximum 2 minutes to finish your answer. And I think Pat is a perfect candidate because he totally understands Toastmaster. He understands the concept of timings. So my first question, first of all, welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Azhar. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
You're welcome. So my first question, Pat, and you have first table topic question. Tell me about yourself, who is Pat is, and what's your passion, how you start the business.
Well, Azhar, thank you very much. I began in this industry about 30 years ago, and I have done everything from decorate the sides of airplanes for Bombardier to do game day promotions for NHL teams to ship bottles of maple syrup around the world for Magna. But mostly, I think what I do is I celebrate organizational moments. I help organizations create those special times within their organizations where employees have done something special. Employees have stood out from the crowd. Employees have done something that is noteworthy. And to do these kinds of things, they have to come from a position of authenticity. You can't be just handing out something and expecting an employee to appreciate it. You need to be able to recognize those special moments. Uh, Corporate culture is a big thing for companies, and being able to um, inflect an air of authenticity. You can't be just sending, a lot of organizations or a lot of companies out there send an award to an employee after they have, done something amazing or been with a company for a year. And I say that that really is a bit disingenuous. Employees need to be celebrated all the time. They need to be recognized all the time. Employees have to feel a sense of purpose, that they are belong to something bigger than themselves. And what they're looking for from their employer is those moments where that authenticity can show through. And people, especially now with COVID, need to have those that sense of team that may have been able to have been built while we were go to events. No longer can we go to events. We now have to do that remotely. We have to do that through Zoom. So what my company does is we come in and we help organizations with that corporate culture. We come in, we help find those moments where a leader within an organization can express to an employee the authenticity, the real sense of thank you for having accomplished something. So that's what I do. That's what I do.
Excellent. And I work for Bombardier, so good to know, which I never know if I not coffee with you. So I work as a project manager there, so it's a great thing to know. And Pat, what inspires you to join Connecting GTA, and how long you are with Connecting GTA?
I'm a relatively new member of Connecting GTA. I have a long history or a long career of community service and participating in my community. I've done, I was a member of several different service clubs over my career. And so being participatory in my community and reaching out has been something that has been very, very important to me. And when I saw some of the values that Suresh and Connecting GTA were espousing, I thought, this is the kind of organization that I can be a part of. As an entrepreneur, as somebody who has been around a while, I had a mentor of mine say to me, Pat, as you enter the next stage of your life, become or be the entrepreneur that you wished you had met 30 years ago. And so I began thinking about that and contemplating what that means. And an awful lot of times, what it means is giving that not a hand out to a fellow entrepreneur, but a hand up to say to somebody, yes, you can. Especially in these times with COVID happening, there's an awful lot of mental health issues that are happening. People are cooped up in their homes, and they need someone with a positive spirit that can tell them, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can. You need to just take that extra step, make that extra phone call. And if I can in any way inspire somebody to, be a little bit better, to be the best version of themselves, then that's what I'm going to do. And I really like the cut of Suresh's jib. I thought he was a good lad, and I thought his heart was in the right spot. And so when they asked me to join, it didn't take much contemplation, and I said for sure I'd like to be a part of this.
Thank you so much. And definitely, you are right that positivity and a group which have lot of energy and positive is very important. And you are absolutely right. Even though I don't think so. It's no more a small club. We have around more than 200 members, but I think you are a very good addition to our club. Before I go to my question, I'm adding one question, and I think I should add this question. We both are Toastmasters. I'm Toastmaster since many years, more than 15 years, and serve many countries. How is your experience about Toastmasters, Pat?
You know what? I have spoken for professionally, I guess, because I ultimately, as an entrepreneur, you're always put in positions where you have to speak. And so when I joined Toastmasters, I felt, I already had some skills, but what I felt was that those skills were not necessarily polished. They needed to be, I guess, refined a little bit. And so I joined Toastmasters in an effort to, I think as I get older, I realize how much I don't know. And so I thought the better part of valor here is to be humble and to join an organization in which people are trying to help others and trying to learn through an osmosis, not through somebody pounding rote into you, but somebody actually sitting there and offering, constructive criticism, offering advice, offering, wisdom, and I think too offering a structure. Here's the piece of paper. Here's what Toastmasters does. Here's the, and in and being a fella who likes to talk, I think that, having the structure, the frame around my speeches allows me to talk in a much more powerful and in a much more structured way and in a way that people listen. And that's what I've gained from Toastmasters. I've also gained an awful lot of knowledge, being able to be a part of, the different training sessions. And even though the Toastmasters now is virtual, I've had the opportunity to speak in Sao Paulo, Brazil, up the eastern seaboard of the US. It has been very exciting for me to not just be speaking here in Ajax, but to be honestly, to be speaking around the world. And Toastmasters has given me that opportunity. So that is terribly exciting.
Very good to know. And I know you introduced me to the Club of Brazil, where I won the best table topic session. And thank you. You introduced me there. And you are absolutely right. When you are very young, you think you know everything. But when you become mature, you think there is a lot of things in life, like I am now doing. So I always love art, so I'm painting nowadays. I also learning some guitar skills more, which I love, and I didn't have a time during my busy life. So you are absolutely right. Toastmaster, where leaders are made, and you also have an opportunity. Anyone can evaluate you instantly. So yeah, it's a wonderful experience, and you are definitely a very good addition to our Toastmasters family. My next question to you, Pat, that everyone have an inspiration story. Everyone have some story which he is proud of, and especially during the time of this pandemic, people need more powerful stories. Can you share any success story of yours which inspire the listeners of Coffee with Azhar Khan?
Oh, you know what? I'm, I think I'm just a simple farm boy. I don't have, any, big answers to big questions or big problems. One of the things that I try to do every day is put my pants on and go out the door. And maybe that's figuratively right now because we really can't be going out the door very much. But I try to make sure that I have a regular routine. You get up at the same time, you go to bed at the same time. You still carry on with the same kinds of activities but now you're going to have to do it in a digital world as opposed to a world in which you would go out and visit people and communicate people. You and I would, we're people and we like to go out and we like to meet people. We like to get into the nitty gritty areas of human existence and why does somebody do that? And I feed off of that energy. I get excited when I walk into a crowd of people and I've got to learn who they are and what they're all about, and that's the entrepreneur in me. But during COVID, we can't do that. And so, how do you transition your business? And I'm like no one else or like anybody else. I'm trying to figure out, what are the things that I need to do in order to become, into this digital world. And I honestly don't believe we're going back to, the way it was. I used to put 50,000 kilometers a year on my car, driving around, visiting my customers, doing the things that I needed to do in order to run my business. Well, and now we're not going to have that same kind of opportunity. And I don't believe our customers are going to want to go back to that either. I believe that the world now, Zoom, for whether you like it or not, you need to embrace it. You need to get on with it. It's the digital world, and the opportunities are remarkable if you do. I think it's incredible to think, that you and I would have been able to go to a meeting in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and speak. There's no reason why business necessarily needs to be, just here in Ajax or just here in Pickering. The business world now is determined by how well you're going to be able to interact on in digital media. And when we watch our young people, I think, most organizations, a lot of organizations, I should say, get their vitality from their youth. And when you watch young people and how they interact on social media, how they use their phone in order to, talk to people, the best part of that is just watching them do it. It is amazing. It is remarkable. I was on a call yesterday with a fellow by the name of Morris, and he's a member of Connecting GTA. And the young man was telling me about his 7-year-old daughter, who's completely, um, uh, her phone is her world or her iPad is her world, and how she can just float around in that. And it's natural for her. And for a fellow of mine your age, we're a little bit more shy about technology and our ability to be able to use it, but we can't. We have to take the lessons of our youth, of the young people around us, and listen to them. They're telling us something. There's wisdom in watching them. And I think that as we move into, I don't believe we're going to go back to the way of previous. And so as we move through COVID and ultimately come out on the other side, we need to recognize that we're as much, at least when we're introducing or working with our clients, uh, we need to be mindful and professional and put the best version of ourselves on, no differently than we would have when we walked into into a networking meeting hosted by Connecting GTA. We put a nice shirt on, we make a smile on our face. We do the things that need to be done in order to make our customer feel comfortable with us, or our potential customer feel comfortable with. But all of it has to come from a position of authenticity. It has to be real. If you get on, digital media and you start telling people how to do things, or it's a pontification on who you are, people don't care. In my experience. So it's more important to recognize that technology is there for all of us to take advantage of. It is not something to be feared. And in fact, it is something to be celebrated. But once we do get out into that digital world, realize that it's no different in that digital world than it is if we go to a networking event, if we go to a customer showroom. We have to put the best version of ourselves on and be excited about the genuineness of it. How you see me here on this call is how you would see me at a Connecting GTA networking session. And that authenticity is what people will feel. It is not the same as if you and I would be connecting one-on-one, but moving forward as we become more and more comfortable with this digital world, it will become an awful lot easier.
Thank you so much. I think you touch many points in this. Not only a story, I think it's best practices, I must say, learn from our youth and represent the best factor. And I'm fully agree with you. And because I'm BS Computer Science, my basic qualification, I was doing coding when I was in the university for the companies long time back, and making turn into the manual to programming side. And I was laughing that end of the career again, this technology is more. And I totally agree with you that I'm always inspired, because I'm coaching youth since many years. More than 4,000 youth graduated from my program. The one thing always, like you and same like me, inspires me, the shining of their eyes, the new things, the and I push myself to go with the youth. When you teach, you learn, and when you learn, you teach. It's a two-way traffic, like technology, what they are adapting. And I think you are absolutely right. We're not going back, and how we represent ourselves on with the technologies is very good. Thank you so much, Ian, in this not a story, but lot of, I think, learning from you. Those who are watching us, definitely they learn something. My last question, we all going through with this stressful time. We are in lockdown. We cannot, we are changing our habits, shake hand to like this, and hugging to smile, or the mask and everything. What you give the positive message to the audience who is watching us about COVID-19, how we handle this anxiety if we have, and how we handle this situation?
I'm sorry, I missed the technology is a wonderful thing when it works. But as you're telling me that question, it became choppy. So do you mind repeating that question again?
Yeah, my question is like, what is your message? What you learned during this COVID-19, and what positive message you want to give to the audience, Coffee with Azhar Khan audience, uh, that what they should do, what is one positive message during this period of COVID-19?
You know what? I don't. There's so many messages that I could deliver, and again, I'm I'm ultimately at my core just a simple farm boy. I think what I've learned in that life lesson was, follow Mother Nature, the ebb and the flow of things are going to happen the way things are going to happen. And we can't control COVID. We can't control what's happening in the outside world. All we can control is what's happening in here and in here. And that what you feed into that is what will come out on the other side. And so if you're feeding into positivity, if you're feeding into, the right frame of mind, if you're looking at the world on not on what I can take from it, but what can I give to it, I think that is, it's just a better place to be in your soul. And I'm not knocking, some guy wants to go out there and make a ton of money, and he's got a business idea and he wants to go hard doing that. All the more power to him. All the more power to him. But as I enter a new stage of my life, ages, it's stages, if you will, as I enter a new stage of my life, and I start looking around and I see all those young entrepreneurs that are coming through or are part of Connecting GTA, I want to say to them all, yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's not about the handout. It's not about government helping you. It's about someone opening a door. I've had many people in my life who have come along at the right moment in time, and they haven't necessarily given me a handout. I've had to work awfully hard to have what I have. What they've done is they have opened the door to an opportunity. And it was up to me to take the step through that door to take advantage of the opportunity. And if I had one lesson in my life, it was listen. Listen for those opportunities. And when you run at 1,000 miles an hour, sometimes you don't hear that here's an opportunity knocking, and you just have to open the door. And so what I'd like to be able to do as I enter this next stage of my life is to be able to help entrepreneurs open the door and see what's on the other side.
Thank you so much, Pat. It was wonderful coffee with you and learn a lot from you. You are very seasoned Toastmaster. You are very seasoned businessman, and I love. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, and learn your heart, learn your think from your mind, and go with the nature, natural flow. One thing, it's not changed during all these big changes is nature. It's constant. It's there. If you go to walk on the creek or lake or river, you see how nature is going. Thank you so much, Pat. It's an honor. You are coffee with Azhar Khan, and I'm sure a lot of people learn from you, from your experience, and from your wisdom. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks very much, Azhar. Thanks, Connecting GTA. Be
Thanks
well,
for
everybody.
connecting GTA to have this awesome program.